Hey everyone, it's Carissa Wiley at sprinkledwithglitter.com. Thanks for joining me today. Today I am sharing the brand new inks released from catherinepooler.com. This is the date night collection and I have all of them here. I'm going to swatch them for you and kind of show you how they fit into the existing line of Catherine Pooler inks so you can decide if there's some colors that you want to add to your stash, but spoiler alert, you're going to want them all. So here's a look at the collection. You can see I've got a nice little rainbow going on, but that do-si-do, it is one of my favorites. I'm going to show you a color combination at the end of this video that includes that. And I want to say that a lot of people ask me what my favorite ink is. And I have to say, Catherine Pooler is one of my top picks. I reach for them all the time, and I use them so often in my crafting. I have all of them, and Catherine Pooler did send me these inks to try out, but I've purchased many of the Catherine Pooler inks on my own. So I just want to put that out there for you. So I am going to swatch each of these colors for you in this video. I don't actually have a project for you, and I'm going to show you in real time how these stamp. Now I'm starting with the Pucker Up ink, and these ink pads are brand spanking new right out of the box, and they are juicy. And this Pucker Up was almost a little too juicy, so what I did was I quickly blotted it onto a scrap piece of cardstock, and I can use that little blot to die cut some images or something like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and stamp that again. Now, the Catherine Pooler ink pads are a little bit different than a lot of the ink pads on the market. A lot of ink pads have a firm felt ink pad surface. The Catherine Pooler ink pads, on the other hand, are a foam surface. So when you are inking up, you want to make sure you kind of gently tap. You don't want to press really hard like you do with a felt ink pad because you will squish ink everywhere. So you just want to tap your stamp lightly with the pad, and then you will get great results off the bat. Now this is the do-si-do, and it looks very orange here, but when these inks dry back just a little bit, they're going to soften, and you'll see a little bit of difference once they've completely dried. Next up is the Chiffon. This is a beautiful kind of light lemony yellow color. And then I'm going to move on to stamping the Catching Rays. Now this is a gorgeous kind of golden orangey yellow, and you're gonna see how well these inks fit into the existing color line. I'm gonna show you that here in just a minute. So what I did want to tell you is that I am doing my Pantone inspired ink swatches in this video. I am not going to give you all the details here. I have a complete video talking in detail about how I create these swatches, the downloads that I use, what stamps I use to do this. I really just wanted to focus on these beautiful new colors from Catherine Pooler. So that's what I'm doing today. And I'll be sure to throw up a card in the upper right-hand corner to link you to that video. Now you just saw me do Catching Rays and In the Garden. That In the Garden is a beautiful green. And now I'm moving on to Cummerbund. Now this Cummerbund, I have to tell you, I am not a huge blue person. You probably don't see me use blue a ton in my projects, but I absolutely love this blue here from Catherine Pooler. This Cummerbund is perfection. Now moving on, I am going to ink up and stamp the Serenade ink. This is a beautiful kind of lavender color, but it's not exactly like any of the other lavenders that are already in the Catherine Pooler line. So it really feels a void that's kind of there in the collection already. And finally, I am going to finish off with Drive-In. Now this Drive-In color is really unique. It falls like right between blue and purple on the spectrum, and you're going to see that here when I kind of compare it. But I want you to notice, look at the beautiful results I'm getting right off the bat. I did not double stamp these swatches. These are single stamped each, and I have beautiful stamped results. So here's a look at all the swatches once they kind of dry back. That do-si-do dries back to a really beautiful coral pink. And I really love that Pucker Up color as well as the Cummerbund. Those are probably my three favorites in the line. So now let's look at each of these colors compared to the Catherine Pooler inks that exist. Now you can see this Pucker Up falls kind of between Flirty Fuchsia and the Pixie Dust. It is a little more purple than pink, in my opinion. It kind of falls right between that purple and pink line, and that's why I think I like it so much. Now, next up is the Do-Si-Do. Now, Coral Cabana has long been one of my favorite Catherine Pooler inks, but this Do-Si-Do kind of pushed it aside because it's a little bit softer of a coral color, and you can see how beautiful those go together. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a pink because it definitely has a little bit of that orange in it, but it definitely will read pink on its own. So I hope that makes sense. Next up is Chiffon, and it really is just a beautiful, lighter companion to the limoncello that's already a part of the Catherine Pooler line. It fits in beautifully, and this Catching Rays, I would say, kind of falls between the Sauna and the Tiara here. This is a great, rich yellow. It has some golden tones to it. It's not too orange, and I absolutely love it. So here is a look at In the Garden, and if I had to place this, I would place this somewhere between Seafoam and Mardi Gras. I think it's a really beautiful, lighter complement to the Mardi Gras. It is definitely more in the blue spectrum of greens than it is the yellow greens. So keep that in mind. And here is a look at the Cummerbund. Now, I told you earlier, this is like one of my favorite blues. If I had to put it somewhere on the Catherine Pooler spectrum, I would put it between It's a Boy and that Fiesta Blue, but it really does complement all that jazz really well as well. And I think it will look really beautiful with a lot of the blue tones, but it's got a little more like green blue than blue blue. Does that make sense? Have you ever tried to describe colors before, by the way? It's not the easiest thing to do. Now, here's a look at Drive-In and Serenade. And I would say that Serenade falls somewhere on that lavender spectrum, probably somewhere around this Grape Crush, like a lighter version of that Grape Crush. And I would put the Drive-In right between the blues and the purples. It's got a lot of blue in it, but it definitely could read purple as well. So I thought I would quickly pull a color palette together for you using these, and I'm pulling in the Do-Si-Do, the Cummerbund, and the Chiffon. Now this color palette is very Florida to me. It's very Miami Vice and perfect for spring and summer. Now here is another color palette, and this color palette is actually what I've used in my planner this year, and it includes the Do-Si-Do and some of the other Catherine Pooler inks that are already a part of the line. So I'm going to start out at the top. That's meant to be Do-Si-Do, Deck the Halls, then I have the Sauna, the Lemongrass, and finally Hot Tub. And this makes a beautiful color combination. I've used these colors in my planner this year, and I absolutely love that color palette. And that Do-Si-Do, I'm telling you, it's one of my favorite pinks. As always, I will have links to the featured products used in this video in the description at YouTube. So if you're looking for something in particular, be sure you check there. Or you can head on over to my blog at sprinkledwithglitter.com. I will have that linked below as well. Over there, I'll have more still shots, more information, and a complete list of supplies. As always, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notifications here on my YouTube channel so you won't miss any of my paper crafting and card making video tutorials. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day.